Hi guys, Hamad Benesha here for Anduit.ca. Today I'd like to talk to you about backlight problems, and we're gonna discuss what it is and how it happens and how you can troubleshoot it. And we're gonna go through a whole repair, how it's done. And but first I want to discuss it with you a little bit further. So very often, not very often, but often, a MacBook will turn on and will have a black screen. Okay, and the people will assume that something wrong with the screen or something with the video card. And unfortunately, very often they will be deemed unrepairable and they will be thrown away, which is total waste, because all it is just a backlight problem. Like in this case, you can see the machine is on, but the screen is pretty much black. So an easy way to find out if it's a backlight issue or not, what you can do, you can use your cell phone, okay, or any flashlight, okay, and all you got to do really, turn it on and then put the flashlight against the logo over here and see if anything comes on the screen, okay, as I'm going to show you here. Okay, as you can see over here. Okay, so if I put the flashlight on the Apple logo, you can see here that there's something coming up on the screen, which is very good news. Okay, so it's probably just a backlight problem. It is fixable. Okay, now if you have one of the latest model 2016 and up, they all have, the logo, Apple logo, the see-through is no longer there. Okay, so it doesn't even light up. It's like a mirror. Okay, unfortunately, if you put the flashlight in here, it doesn't work because it's not see-through, so nothing will come on. Okay, so how can you tell if it's a flashlight backlight issue? What you can do, you can tilt your MacBook a little bit like that, okay, on an angle, and push a flashlight a little bit, on the screen. See if you can see anything at all on the screen or not. Okay, if you can see your user ID, or you can see the Apple, the operating system loading, anything at all. Okay, it's most likely also a backlight problem. Okay, now very often for this particular model, the one I'm talking about here today, let me turn up this backlight here, the flashlight, sorry. MacBook Air, okay, model A1466. Okay, I fixed hundreds of those last year, and all of the liquid damage came, not all of it, but very often it came through the back here. Okay, and end up on the backlight circuit, as you will see in a minute. Most likely that's also the case here. And so if you own one of those MacBooks, when you go to often people go to a coffee shop, okay, and they put the MacBook on the table without running their hands first on the table, make sure there is no liquid. So sometimes you cannot see the liquid, and if you put the MacBook on a pad of liquid, even if it's a little bit, the fan is so powerful on here, it acts like a vacuum, and it will actually suck in the liquid, and it will land on the logic board. Okay, and within days the backlight will go away. Okay, there will be no more backlight. Okay, the good news about it is that it's 99% fixable. I don't want to say 100%, but it should be 100%. 99% of the time it is fixable. There's no doubt about it. Okay, the only time it's not fixable if it's the PCB has been burned, or somebody attempted to do the repair, or doesn't have enough experience. Okay, and you ended up damaging the pads where the LED driver goes. Okay, which I've seen it quite often. And when it's the case, then it's not fixable anymore. But if nobody touched it and it came here the first time, 99% of the time it can be fixed. Okay, so we're gonna go for we're gonna fix this one together. Okay, we're gonna make a video quickly. I'm gonna show you what's fixed. This machine come from a computer store. They tried to fix it and they couldn't, so they sent it over. We're gonna look at it, see what they missed, and we're gonna fix it. Okay, thank you. Well, hi guys, Hamad Benesha here again, un petit coucou à nos amis francophones. So we're gonna move forward with this repair, which is a backlight issue. Okay, so I'm gonna show you one more time with the flashlight what I was talking about, and we're gonna open it up and we're gonna proceed with the repair. So turn on the flashlight, put it underneath, and you can see over here, you can see it, you can see the screen. Okay, when you put the flashlight underneath, you can see that there is something on the screen. Okay, so let's open it up. I'm not going to give you the history of this MacBook because, as I mentioned, it came from a computer store. So let's open it up first, and then I'll tell you what exactly happened to it. What did they try to do? This computer store is pretty big. It's in Ottawa, and their technicians are pretty good, and they know exactly when to stop, when not to go any further. And so I will give them the feedback on what I did, so hopefully they know it next time. But for now, let's open this up. Okay, so remove the back cover. First thing first, let's remove the battery. Always remove the battery first. Okay, let's open it up. Okay, the first thing I already noticed, let me see, it's over here, the indicator, the liquid indicator sticker is red, so which means there was liquid damage, and they should be under one underneath here. As you can see, the other one is red too, so definitely there was liquid damage on this MacBook. Okay, that's what the Apple store, that's what they look for when they open up the machine. They look for those liquid indicator. If they see red, so that means it was liquid damaged. Okay, so we're gonna take this out. First of all, we're gonna remove the battery, and we're going to remove the logic board. I'm gonna inspect it. Okay, first thing first, always inspect the logic board before you start doing anything. Let me get this out of the way. Okay. Okay, so let's remove the battery. Okay, I'm gonna remove the hard drive, the SSD. Keyboard, backlight, speaker. Remove the antenna. I'm going to remove the Wi-Fi card. Okay, now we're going to remove the fan. Okay, now the backlight circuit is not really big. Okay, as you will see, I will show the schematic. It's not really big. It's very delicate, and the reason why I'm saying that, I will tell you how many potential problem there is. Okay, and again, when I say delicate, I should say delicate in the means for the repair, because like example, if you replace this connector, look how close the pins are to each other, so it's very delicate. They cannot touch each other, they cannot, so it's a delicate job. That's what I'm trying to say. How often a backlight die? I'll say probably most of the time is always liquid damage. Okay, it's very rare that the backlight will die just by itself, unless the computer was dropped sometime. If there's a drop, the computer gets dropped, it could short circuit or something, and then you could have a backlight issue. Okay, and in this case it could be the fuse over here. Okay, but that's really realistically, the fuse will only blow for that particular reason. I've never seen it blowing just when there is liquid damage. I mean, when there is liquid damage, it will blow. It will try to protect this section of the board to this section of the board. That's where the other backlight is. Okay, so that's the LED driver over here. That's what gives power to the backlight. Okay, those two pins over here. All this area is a part of the backlight circuit. Okay, so like I said, it's not really big. So there's all this area, this included obviously, and this area over here. Realistically, that's all the backlight is. Okay, for the MacBook Air. Okay, so the problem in this particular case is somewhere here, over here, or all over here. Okay, so now the history of this MacBook, because the computer store sent me a history, and this is why it's so important if you fill up a form online, okay, if you want to send your computer over, to give us as much details as possible, because the more we know, the easier it's for us to fix, and the more chances it will be fixed. Okay, in this particular case, so what happened, there was liquid damage, also liquid damage over here, so they went ahead and they replaced the LED driver, this chip over here. okay? And then when they plugged in the computer, the backlight worked the first time. The second time they turned it on, it died again. So they assumed there was a problem again with the backlight. Maybe it's defective, the chip that they put in. So first of all, the fuse died. Okay, this one over here. So they went ahead. They put another backlight LED driver. They replaced the fuse, and then they plugged it in again. Same thing, you flash the first time, and then the second time you try to turn it on, no backlight. Okay, so they stopped. They said, you know what, let's stop here, let's not make it worse. So in my opinion, based on what I'm seeing right now, okay, I need the microscope, but I think I already found the problem. And I think, let me see, let me confirm first before I say anything. Yeah, I can see the problem. So the problem, there is a burn in here. Okay, this is the LED connector, LCD connector. Okay, the two pins over here, pin 2 and 3, I believe. I have to check on the schematic, but over here, that's what gives the power, the backlight. Okay. There is it's hard to see here on the camera, but there is a burn inside here. So as soon as you plug in the LCD, well, it doesn't matter, it would burn again and again and again. So we need to replace the LCD connector. Then we'll have to replace the fuse because the fuse is burned. Okay, and then we'll test it. We'll test the resistance, make sure there is no more short. Okay, and hopefully the LCD was not killed. Okay, or not, sorry, killed, but the cable is not damaged. Okay, now often when there is a burn here on the LCD connector, okay, it does often burn the pins on here too. Okay, on the cable. Okay, over here, you'll see them completely burn over here. In this case, it's very clean, so I assume this time it didn't get burned. Okay, now when you go to most computer stores, they will tell you that you need a new screen as well, because the problem with this model is that the cable, which you can see over here, runs through here. Okay, and it's almost impossible to remove without cracking the screen. Okay, so if you want to replace the cable alone, it's almost impossible unless you're a very, very expensive technician, and you can actually cut the first two wires over here. So remove these, cut the first two wires, and then use a microscope, and then jump a wire from here onto here. Okay, now this is very complicated, very hard to do, because those cables, those wires are so thin. Okay, and it's like a coaxial cable, like the one they use for the TV, like a coaxial cable. So there will be the short cables will be on the outside, and then if you peel, you'll see the one cable, one wire, like super thin, one wire inside going through, and that's what you need to jump. You need to jump this wire onto here, and it will work. You don't have to replace the LCD. I've done it quite often, but the first time it was extremely hard. But now that I've done it so many times, it's so much easier, so much easy. So again, this is in today is not the case, so which is really good, because the cable doesn't look burned, but you can see it. I mean, you know, it will completely burn. Okay, and then you have no choice. You have to cut them, because if you plug it in again after, well, guess what? The LED driver will fry again. Okay, this one would fry again. Okay, so those are all the problems possible on a backlight. Okay, so in this case, the technicians at the store in Ottawa did the right thing. They replaced the LED driver, they replaced the thing, but the problem kept reoccurring, kept happening again, because there is another short in here. So now we need to replace this. Okay, now I'm going to show you how you do it. Again, it's not terribly complicated, but you need experience, because for the simple reason that I'm gonna try to see as close as possible. You see those pins over here? Okay, when the job is done, they cannot touch each other. If one of them touch, the screen is not gonna work, the LCD is not gonna work. Okay, so that's the problem with that. We have to remove it, we have to solder a new one. Okay, so let's do that. So first of all, I'm gonna use one of the biggest soldering head that I have, because you need a lot of heat And then we're gonna put flax. Okay, again, I've done it so many times that it seems fairly easy, but if you're a trained technician, it should be easy for you. If you really want to do it at home, well, this particular job I don't think it's recommended. Okay, so it's a bit complicated. Okay, so we're gonna heat it up, we're gonna melt the soldering, and then we're gonna remove it. Okay. Okay. Now next, what you need to do, we need to remove the old soldering, so we can put a low heat soldering. It will be easier to put the new one after. So I go like that. There you go. Nice and clean. I'll put a little bit more flax. Now I'm going to use the microscope, so you might not be able to see what I'm doing, but I'm going to show you how it looks like once I'm done. Okay. Okay, so I put fresh solder in here, as you can see. Okay, over here, all over here. Okay, and now I'm gonna put, I already have a new connector. Okay, again, I'm gonna use the microscope because the pins are so close to each other, and then I'll show you the final work. So first of all, we have to align it properly. What I like to do after that, once it's aligned, I'm gonna use the iron and I'm gonna try to just connect a couple of pins so it doesn't move, which makes it a bit easier after to solder. So when you do that, you might want to put some pressure on the connector because the pins have to touch the pads underneath. Okay, now I'm going to put more soldering, more flux. Okay, looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna clean it a little bit. So I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss anything. So you can see it's nice and shiny over here. I'm gonna clean it a little bit, and then I'm gonna push each pin one at a time. Make sure there's not a single one pin that's loose. If I can find my just looking for cloth. Here you go. Okay, nice and clean. Okay, now I'm gonna use this tweezer. I'm gonna push each pin like that, one at a time. Okay, see if they move or not. Because if they move, it's not soldered properly. Okay, I'm gonna do one at a time. Okay, so I use the microscope for that because it's so much easier. Okay, there's still one that's not soldered properly. It's still moving, so let's see if we can do that one. Okay, so all good. Now I'm gonna angle it like that. Make sure there is no short, nothing touching each other. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, let's clean it up a little. Okay, so let me show you what it looks like. There you go, see? Nice and shiny, all new soldering. There you go. Okay, next we're gonna measure the fuse. Okay, here you go. You see the fuse is blown. It should be zero ohm over here, 0 ohm. Okay, so the fuse is definitely gone. They didn't manage to replace it the second time. So we're going to put a new fuse. Okay. So I'm going to put a little bit of flux in there. There you go. Okay. So this is bad. Let's see. The fuse. And use the microscope again. Makes my life so much easier. Okay. Pull off one little bit. Okay, okay. Let's measure the fuse again. There you go, 0. Not sure if you can see. Yeah, okay, make sure it's in under the camera. Okay. There you go, 0. Okay, perfect. Okay, now what I need to do also, I'm going to measure traces. Okay, now we cannot use a multimeter for that. I need to use a tracker. Okay, so I just want to measure, and the only way you can measure realistically is by comparison. Okay, so I've done so many now that I remember the signals of each component over here, but if, let's say, if I didn't, I would use an exact same model of a motherboard, okay, of a logic board, okay, exact same model, and I will compare the signal. Okay, so I would go here, I will look at the tracker, see how the signature looks like. Okay, and then I will compare with another board. Okay, so basically I will go like that. Okay, I will compare one at a time. Okay, so I will look at the signature and make sure it match the exact same signature over here on the tracker. Okay, so since I know by heart all of the signatures, I'm just gonna check, make sure this LED driver that was replaced is good. Okay, that didn't put it upside down. Be very careful if you replace it. There is pin number 1. If you put pin number 1 upside down, well, guess what? Then you will burn the PCP, and then that board would be beyond repair. Okay, it would be garbage. Okay, so always check the schematic. Always know exactly where pin number 1 is. Okay, and that goes for most of the integrated circuits. Okay, they all have pins number. See, like this one over here. See this dot over there? That's pin number 1. Okay, and this pin number 1, it will be okay. Same apply to the LED driver. So I'm just double checking before I turn it on. Make sure it doesn't fry the board. Okay, so they all look good. Okay, so seems good. There is no more short in here. This is brand new. Okay, new soldering. The fuse has been replaced. The LED driver is good. Now all I have to do realistically is to check the resistance on the circuit itself. Okay, so I can grab it from pretty much anywhere I want, as long as it's part of the circuit, and I know this is part of the circuit. So I'm just going to measure it. Okay, you always have to measure before you turn on the machine. Okay, if you see a short somewhere, don't even bother. Okay, 177 kilobyte, that's a very good signal, good measurement. So there is no short on that particular circuit. This circuit over here has no short anymore. Okay, so it should be good. Okay, always measure. It's important. Okay, there's no guessing. It's not just, you know, oh, maybe. There is no maybe here. It's exact science. So measure. If you do not measure, you'll end up with a bigger problem than you started with. Okay, so now let's test the backlight, see if it's working. So I'm gonna put it back. And one last measurement, after we plug in the LCD, we still have to measure, because it could be short on the LCD, which will short the board, which will the backlight circuit again. So we're gonna measure before we press the power button. Okay, so here you go. So I'm gonna plug it in. Okay, perfect. Quit soldering. I'm gonna put in the speaker so we can hear the chime. Put in the keyboard. Okay. Put in the fan. DC jack, the camera. Okay, I'm gonna put one screw on the the fan so it doesn't move. Put back the cable, the I/O cable. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna put in the hard drive. Put in the Wi-Fi card. We don't have to connect it, but connect the antenna, but at least it's in there. Okay, now we're gonna power it up. Okay, we're gonna turn it on. Okay, when you do testing like that, don't put the battery yet. Okay, why? Because if something is wrong, if you see sparkles, well, immediately remove the DC jack. Okay, the adapter, sorry, the power adapter. Immediately remove it so it doesn't keep on burning. If you plug in the battery and you put full power, well, guess what? By the time you try to remove the battery, the thing's gonna go burn. Okay, so always. So let's give it a try. Turn it on. Okay, we got the chime. There you go. The machine is turning on. We got a backlight here, slide up. So the problem is fixed. It was the LED connector. Okay, that's totally normal. Let's turn it on, reboot. So yeah, so the backlight circuit is not totally completely difficult because it's fairly small, as you've seen, but it could also be you know, traces, broken traces, which becomes a bit slightly more difficult to find or to figure out. That require a little bit more experience, but it can be fixed as long as you measure, as long as you know when to stop. Do not continue when you get to a point where it doesn't work. Like for these guys who are very experienced, you know, technicians, they knew that they had to stop and pass it along to somebody else and hopefully get feedback from that person. In this case, I will tell them what was the problem, so for next time they know exactly what to do. Okay, so let's see if we can see the logo. Yeah, Apple logo is coming up. Here's a user ID. Okay, problem resolved. So again, if you are located anywhere in Canada, if you have a problem with the backlight, just click on online request. It's free. We'll send you a quote. If you don't receive the quote within 4 business hours, check your spam folders, because sometimes it goes to the spam folders. We reply to every single request. Okay, we don't ignore anybody. If you do not receive the email from us with a quote, it's because your email was rejected by your server or something. So follow up with us, give us a call, tell us, oh, I sent a request you know, yesterday or whatever, and I didn't get it. And yeah, and so no matter, as long as you're in Canada, no matter where you are, we can help you. Backlight issue, any other problems. Okay, thanks for watching this video. Hope to see you again on the next video. Thanks.